Hey boys and girls, it's math class, and it's Miss Bowden's favorite time in math class because it's word problems, and I absolutely love teaching you guys how to break down word problems. I'm going to do the best I can today. I think yesterday the lesson was really good. I hope you guys got it. Today is a little bit more difficult because you really have to look at the verbiage, like the words that we use in the word problems, to truly break it apart. But we're going to continue to use that redraw right strategy like we do for every word problem. And we're going to draw our picture like we were doing yesterday to help us figure out the answers. This time, though, we have to pay attention to a little bit more words in our problem, just because they're going to try to trick us, like Miss Bowden likes to do. So what we're going to start out with is I wrote down all the problems, and we're just going to go through the problem set page all together again, and then I'm going to give you the homework page to try on your own. Remember, the first few of them, like the first three, are mainly the ones I want you to try to get done. Numbers 4, 5, and 6, those are the more challenging ones, especially number 6. Number 6 is the most difficult one of all of them. But if you can't do numbers 4, 5, and 6, especially number 6, it's okay. I'm really just focused on you doing numbers 1, 2, and 3, but I would love for you to challenge yourself to definitely at least try numbers 4 and 5. And if you really want to try number 6, I believe you can do it. I really do. I think you just have to make sure that you read it very carefully and break it down, but you got it. So let's get started. Remember, we read it twice. So here's the first problem that I'm going to show you to read to you. Nikki baked 5 pies for the contest. Peter baked 3 more pies than Nikki. How many pies did Peter bake for the contest? Okay, this one's a bit different because yesterday we talked about those words that said how many more, how much more, how many fewer, how much fewer. And we knew more meant that somebody had more, and we wanted to know how many more, like how many more times do we have to count to get there. And how many fewer means that somebody had less, and we wanted to know what was the difference, how much less. So no matter what, we were subtracting. But today, the question didn't say how many more, how many fewer. It asked how many pies somebody had. So, but they use those words more and fewer inside the problems. The difference was yesterday's questions. Let's see, this is today's. Yesterday's work gave us the actual numbers. In today's problem, we have to find and figure out the person's number. So like yesterday, Peter has 3 goats living on his farm. Jay has 9 goats living on his farm. How many more goats does Julio have than Jay? Well, when it says how many more does Julio have than Jay, well, we know how many Julio had and we know how many Peter had. So that was easy to figure out. But today, let's look at it again. Nikki baked 5 pies for the contest. Okay, what's important here? Nikki and 5 pies. Okay, we know Nikki and we know 5 pies. So we definitely know Nikki. But read the next line. Peter baked 3 more pies than Nikki. Peter baked 3 more pies than Nikki. Let that sink in. Did it give us a direct number about how many Peter baked? Like I know Nikki baked 5. Do I know exactly how many Peter baked? No, this is where we have to do the math. It says Peter baked 3 more. Okay, so if Peter baked 3 more than Nikki, more than means that he baked more than Nikki. So we have to add 3 to Nikki's number to figure out how many he baked because we're going to go up. So I know in this information, I'm going to say Peter, and I'm going to also underline 3 more than Nikki. So I know I'm talking about Nikki has 5. Peter had 3 more than Nikki. Okay, our question is, here's where it says, it doesn't say how many more did he have because we don't know how many Peter had. We know he had 3 more. We want to know how many pies did Peter bake? So we want to know, how many pies did Peter bake? How many pies did Peter bake? It doesn't say how many more. It wants to know how many Peter baked. So we need to figure out Peter because it didn't tell us the answer. It just said 3 more than Nikki. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with Nikki with an N since we know her information. And we know Nikki had 5 pies. So I'm going to draw my 5 pies. Just like we've been doing. Okay? Our next one's Peter. Okay, so we're going to put a P for Peter. We know Peter baked 3 more than Nikki. So if Peter baked 3 more than Nikki, does that mean that Peter had to have baked the same amount as Nikki? Yes, he had to have baked the same amount plus 3 more. So I'm going to draw those 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to draw 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Because we don't know how much he baked. We just know he baked 3 more. So that means he should have the same amount as Nikki plus 3 more. So our question was to know, how many pies did Peter bake? So how many pies in all did he bake? That's what we would box off, the whole entire answer. So if we started with 3 more than Nikki, we have to start with what we know, Nikki's amount, 5. So we're going to start with 5. And if it said 3 more, we're going to add 3 more. And when we did that, we ended up getting 8. So we didn't cross off because we didn't want to know how many more. We wanted to know 3 more than that number. So we did that number, we did 3 more. So now, in our answer, how many pies did Peter bake? Peter baked 8 pies. Peter baked 8 pies. How many pies did Peter bake? Peter baked 8 pies. Okay, so these are a little bit different. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's try this one out. Pay attention to the words, the vocabulary words. Here's our story. Emmy planted 12 flowers. Rose planted 3 fewer flowers than Emmy. How many flowers did Rose plant? Okay, here we go again. Emmy planted 12 flowers. What do we know? We know for sure. Emmy had 12 flowers. Exactly. Emmy had 12 flowers. Okay. Rose planted 3 fewer flowers than Emmy. 3 fewer than Emmy. Do we know how many Rose planted? But I know that word fewer. What does fewer mean? Less. And less means to take away. Okay, so we know Rose, 3 fewer than Emmy. We're comparing Rose to Emmy. Rose was 3 fewer than Emmy. So we're going to start with Emmy, and we're going to take away 3 to find out how many Rose did, because Rose did 3 fewer. Let's see what our question's asking us, though. How many flowers did Rose plant? We need to figure out Rose. So they didn't tell us Rose. They just said Rose had 3 fewer than Emmy. So we got to figure out Rose. So let's start with our drawing. Emmy, an E, and Rose, an R. Okay, what am I going to draw for Emmy? What do I know that Emmy had? 12 flowers. Let's draw 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Remember, draw it like your groups of 5. Okay, now it says Rose planted 3 fewer. 3 fewer. So that means 3 less. So what I could do, since I know fewer means to take away, I could draw the same amount and cross off 3. Because then that would show me how many rows planted. So I'm going to draw 12 under rows. And I'm going to make a match. I'm both going to draw on 12. We know Emmy did 12, but we know Rose did 3 fewer. Now, am I going to match them? No, because I don't want to know how many more. I want to know 3 fewer for Rose. So I am just going to X off 3 for Rose. Because Emmy did 12. Rose did 3 fewer. So I'm going to take away that 3. And what's left is going to be how many rows planted. So really, what we did was we started with 12. We took away 3. And we were left with 9. Emmy had 12. Rose had 3 fewer. That means 3 less. So 12 minus 3 gave us 9. So our question is, how many flowers did Rose plant? Rose planted 9 flowers. Just like that. Rose planted 9 flowers. Okay, very good. Let's move on to the next one. All right, we're going to get there, guys. You got this. It just takes some wording to really pay attention to. But we got this. Don't worry. You got this. Number 3, right down here. Ben scored 15 goals in the soccer game. Anton scored 11 goals. How many more goals did Ben score than Anton? Okay, let's pay attention to that wording again. All right, let's see. Let's see what we know. Ben scored 15 goals in the soccer game. What do we know? We know Ben, and we know he scored 15 goals. Okay. Anton scored 11 goals. Wait a minute. Did they just tell us the exact number? They did. Anton scored 11 goals. Anton, 11. Ben, 15. Anton, 11. They told us. How many more? How many more? Oh, my goodness. So we don't have to figure out one person. We need to figure out how many more. So it means somebody scored more, and we want to know how much more. So how many more goals did Ben score than Anton? So I know both of them. So that's like the problems we did yesterday. That one's simple. How many more did Ben score than Anton? So that means Ben scored more, and I want to know how many more. So let's do our B and our A for Ben and Anton. All right, Ben, what am I drawing for Ben? Ben, 15. We already know it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Got him in my groups of 5. All right, what about Anton? What do we know Anton? Where is it? Anton, 11 goals. It tells us, so let's draw 11. Match them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I drew 11. They want to know how many more did Ben score. So Ben scored more. We want to know how many more in order to make them equal. So this one, because it says how many more, we're going to match to take away. We're taking away all that's in common because it said how many more. And what's left over is our answer. So we started with Ben. Ben had 15. And we took away what they had in common, which was Anton's amount, 11. And it left us with how many more Ben had. Ben scored 4 more than Anton. So let's write our answer. How many more goals did Ben score than Anton? Ben scored 4 more goals. Not 4 goals because he scored 15. He scored 4 more goals. Okay, good job. Okay, so you see, sometimes they throw one in there to trick you up to make sure you're paying attention. Because the other ones we did, it talked about so-and-so had more than this person, so you had to figure out so-and-so. Or so-and-so had less than this person, so you had to figure it out. But this one gave you both the answer, so you just had to easy subtract like we did yesterday. All right, let's get back to those tricky ones. They're going to throw one easy one in there, but here's some tricky ones. Here's some of the ones that are a bit of a challenge. I'm going to read number 4 to you, the top one. Kim grew 12 roses in a garden. Fran grew 6 fewer roses than Kim. How many roses did Fran grow in the garden? Okay. What do we know? Kim grew 12 roses in a garden. That's easy. We know Kim grew 12 roses, right? Kim grew 12 roses. Fran grew 6 fewer roses than Kim. What do I know? Fran grew 6 fewer than Kim. So that means we're taking away 6. So we know Fran 6 fewer than Kim. 6 fewer. So do I know how many Fran grew? Nope, I don't know the exact number, so I got to figure out Fran. Because they didn't tell me. They said 6 fewer. So that means I need to subtract. And let's look at that question. How many roses did Fran grow? So we're looking for Fran. How many did Fran grow? So in our picture, we need to start out with a K and an F. Kim and Fran. Kim, how many did Kim grow? 12. Let's draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Got it drawn. All right, if Fran grew 6 fewer, that means we're going to draw the same amount, but take away from Fran's number, okay? Because she grew 6 fewer than Kim. So she grew 6 less than Kim, which means we're going to draw that 12 for Fran. Am I going to match up? No, because Kim definitely grew 12. Only Fran grew 6 fewer. So take away 6 from Fran. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what's left over is what Fran grew. Fran grew 6 less than Kim. So Kim had 12. That's why we drew 12 under Fran. And then we crossed off the 6 fewer to give us our 6 remaining. So we started with our 12 that Kim had. We took away our 6 that we know it was 6 fewer. And we were left with 6 flowers. So how many flowers did Fran grow in the garden? Fran grew 6 flowers. Fran grew 6 flowers. Now we're not matching it up like this one because it didn't say how many more did somebody grow. It told us 6 fewer. So we can only take away from that person who had the fewer. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. We've got 2 more. Next one's going to be similar to this one. Then we're going to get to that really challenging one, which is going to be fun to break apart. Okay. Number 5, this one. Maria has 4 more fish in her tank than Shanika. Shanika has 16 fish. How many fish does Maria have in her fish tank? They changed it up on us. They reversed the order. Maria has 4 more fish in her tank than Shanika. 4 more fish than Shanika. Does that make sense? Do I know how many she has? I just know Maria has 4 more than Shanika. That's all I know. 4 more. 4 more means that we're going to be adding 4 more. Okay. Do I know how many Shanika had though? No, let's keep reading. Shanika has 16 fish. There it is. We know Shanika has 16 fish. How many fish does Maria have? Oh, so we're looking for Maria. How many fish does Maria have? Well, we know Maria has 4 more than Shanika. 4 more means to add to whatever Shanika's got. Shanika, we see, has 16 fish. So let's draw out Shanika and Maria. I'm going to put Shanika first because I know Shanika's definite number is 16. So let's draw 16 for Shanika. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There I go. Drew my 16 circles. All right, I know Maria, it says, has 4 more. So are they going to have the same amount? Yes, plus 4 for Maria. So let's draw that same 16 for Maria because she's got more. So she's got to have more than it. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I drew the 16. Now I have to draw 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you want, you can even color in those 4 just to show that you did 4 more. Our question was to know how many did Maria have? So Maria, if she had 4 more, that means we're going to be adding those 4 to that 16 because she had 4 more than Shanika. So what we did was we took Shanika's 16, we added 4, and we came out with 20. So Maria had 20 fish in her tank. Maria has 20 fish. Because if Shanika had 16, Maria had 4 more. That means we're adding more to it to get that 20. All right, last one. Here's that challenge. How we doing so far? Remember, if you need to, pause me. Work it out on your own and then play me back so you can check your work. Okay, oops. All right, here's that number 6. Let's see if we can get this one. It's the good challenge. Number 6 right here. Lee has 11 board games. Lee has 5 more board games than Darnell. How many board games does Darnell have? Wow. That one's got to get me a lot of thinking going on. Goodness gracious. Okay, let's break it down because when we break it down, we'll understand it sentence by sentence. Okay, let's start out. First sentence. Lee has 11 board games. That's simple. What do we know? We know Lee has 11 board games. Lee has 11 board games. Good. It tells us right here. Lee has 11. All right, next sentence. Lee has 5 more board games than Darnell. Okay, let's think about that. Lee has 5 more board games than Darnell. But it just told me what Lee had. Let's see. Lee has 5 more than Darnell. Lee has 5 more than Darnell. Okay. But it just said Lee has 11 games. Okay, so Lee definitely has 11 games. Did it ever say how many Darnell had? No, because our question's asking us, how many board games does Darnell have? We're looking for Darnell. It never said Darnell's name except here. We know Lee has 11 board games. Let's just draw up. Let's put our L and our D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, there we go. Lee has 11. All right, it still doesn't say Darnell, but let's see. Lee's got 11. Lee has 5 more than Darnell. Well, if Lee's got 11 and he has 5 more than Darnell, that must mean Darnell has less. Darnell has 5 less. It's kind of like the opposite. If they say the same name twice, if they tell you how many Lee has and then they tell you Lee has this many more, we're going to kind of do the opposite, because if you think about it, Darnell has less. So let's do this. Let's draw the same amount for Darnell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to draw the same amount for Darnell. Let's just make it easy. Draw the same amount. Okay. Lee's got 11. I'm not changing anything on Lee. Not at all. Because it says right here, he's got 11. All right, it says he has 5 more board games than Darnell. 5 more than Darnell. So I'm going to take away 5 from Darnell to make Lee have more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take away those 5 to make Lee have more, because Lee had 5 more. So if we were to match those up, Lee would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lee would have 5 more. That's why I'm taking away 5. I'm doing the opposite, because it says Lee has 5 more, but it already told me what Lee had. So I'm going to take it away to make Lee have more. That means Darnell needs to have fewer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Darnell's got 6. So what we did was we started with those 11. We took away that 5 that he had more, and we were left with 6 for Darnell. So simple. You guys did the challenge. Darnell had 6 board games. Don't forget that sentence. Darnell had 6 board games. My goodness, you guys rose to that challenge. That one was a challenge. But remember, if they say the same person twice, but they give you that one piece of information that's concrete, which means it's definite. They tell you they got 11, they got 11. So then the next line, you kind of have to do the opposite of it if it's giving you the same person. You guys rocked that one. Absolutely rocked the challenge. So here's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you something similar. Questions 1 through 6 again, that I want you to solve the same way Miss Bowden did. Look very closely at those words to help you draw everything out. I'm going to post all of these as pictures again, so you can review your math, what you did. The problem set is what we just did. The homework is what you're going to attempt. I'd love for you to definitely do 1, 2, and 3. Challenge yourself with 4 and 5, because I think you can do 4 and 5. I think it's going to be just as simple as the other ones. However, number 6 is that big challenge, and I know you can do it. Try it. If you get stuck, it's okay. That one is a hard one. That one is a super duper hard one. I'm not worried about that one. Even 5 is a little difficult because it flip-flops them sentences. But 1, 2, and 3, and 4, you're kind of good. I think you got this. I believe in you. Okay, I wish we were in class doing this, because I'd love to see when you guys do your word problems. I love teaching them to you guys, and it makes me really happy when you do them. But remember, on your worksheet, ignore that little tape diagram in the front of it. I want you to draw things out how Miss Bowden does it, that tape diagram way, okay? Because it makes everything much easier. All right, have a beautiful Cinco de Mayo. Eat lots of tacos and chips and salsa for Miss Bowden. Maybe make yourself some maracas and go shake them and make some music. Yeah, enjoy your day today. Learn about the Mexican culture of Cinco de Mayo. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.